Welcome back to the Summer League 2025. This is losers round 2 of the gold bracket with S0nzero versus Raiden. I am Ragnoth, joined by...
IVA all day. We had a slight audio issue, but we're good now. So we got L0rdRaiden facing off against S0nzero in losers round 2, which is going to be another elimination match. So
yeah, so whoever loses here will unfortunately be out of the tourney. But yeah, heading into this, we have quite a few early objectives, but actually a pretty good mix of early and late objectives here. We have completing the struggle fights in SDT, the TT1 tower, data axle, last chest of core, village cave in LOD, defeating Beast in Beast Castle, Hydra, Hades in OC2, Oogie Boogie, Experiment, meeting Simba in Pride Lands, defeating Hyenas 1 in Pride Lands, defeating Ground Shaker in Pride Lands, defeating Syx in The World That Never Was, and Spooky Cave.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting mix here. We saw Raiden immediately dive into 100 Acres, kind of something that we've definitely seen a lot of our runners do. Basically, the very first thing, right away, free checks off the bat.
Yeah, part of the reason why you'll see runners do that is because we only start with 4 vision unlocks, accessing your Sphere 0, whatever it may be, because you have access to the 4 chests in The World That Never Was and the 3 and 100 Acre every time, there is a pretty good chance that there might be a vision unlock in one of those locations, opening up your seed a little bit more.
Yeah, speaking of opening up the seed a little bit more, Halloween Town containing the Weight of the Dawn, so already we do technically have access to Syx, but I don't imagine that, of course, would be done right away unless you're feeling very brave to go on through that.
Yeah. Not only that, there is potential here with a double up in Pride Lands too. If you go for Ground Shaker, you could also defeat Data Syx, get the Syx objective as well. So that would be 4 objectives available by going through Pride Lands. But, you know, once again, it's one of those things that you're not really going to actively push for unless the seed plays out in a way where it's beneficial. Also, meanwhile, we have S0nzero actually shotgunning Beast Castle here as the first dip that he does.
Just out of there right away, going straight into The World That Never Was to do that first 4. We already got all our base magic for the big main 3 if we need to go in that at some point with the Fire, Blizzard, and Thunder. So, very nice to see a lot of that magic pouring in early.
Mm-hmm. Picking up a Wisdom Form in The World That Never Was shotgun as well, so early form on the table, very nice. Works as a pseudo elixir, so you don't have to worry about randomized anti-form, or random anti-form, I should say, from the lack of raw forcing. Also picking up nominated sketches as well, so putting that struggle fights on the table potentially.
Yep, especially they felt inclined to go into STT, especially with that fire. I know not too many runners necessarily just go gung-ho into STT right away without some other tools, but having a fire at the very least is always nice to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in terms of what was picked up in Halloween Town as well, we, like you had mentioned before, picked up that Thunder, but also a Magnet. Even though it's only Magnet 1, being able to have access to Magnet Thunder early on for some crowd control is really good. Stats are also leaning a little bit in the magic direction as well, so having those early magics actually showing up here is very nice.
And already a handful of load unlocks on levels as well. Proud Bang coming off of level 12, so another quick, easy objective to go do, especially with that magnet in hand. So the living bones are a little less scary.
Yeah. You'd also get okay experience from pushing Pride Lands here. You know, the living bones give a good amount of experience. Raiden probably gets like 2 levels for doing this, and also sets up for 2 additional objectives after Simba as well.
Yeah, especially if you find a reflect, you might just get tempted to go just knock out Hyenas 1 since it's just right there for the taking.
Yeah. So one thing I will say about that, unless you're planning on pushing to Pride Lands 2, it's probably worth it to just hold that since you're not going to be getting anything else for doing hyenas except the objective, right? So could probably just hold on it for a while, but if Pride Lands 2 is available or looking very appealing, I can definitely see just ripping off the band-aid early.
He spawned there on Wisdom 2.
Another fire in Pride Lands as well. So that...
let's go. Okay.
Yeah, so that Beast Claw most likely won't be of vital importance. There is a chance that BC2 ends up having something that's required, but you're relying on hints for that information first, so probably won't end up factoring in too much. And I also imagine that Raiden will be shotgunning World That Never Was after finishing probably Pride Lands and a few other shotguns, so will have the potential to be picking up that Beast Claw as well.
Unfortunately for him, he will have to make that long trek back to the transition room. He did find that way to Dawn that was in Halloween Town before going there, so...
Yeah. A little bit of a time loss, but not the end of the world. Also, by the time that Raiden goes there, could potentially have better movement as well, so that trek back is less, impactful.
Absolutely. So, Pride Lands...
Dipping
so far,
into...
not really getting much more.
Yeah, so far not. I mean, either way, Pride Lands is just so good regardless, So many free checks. You do have, like I had said earlier, 3 objectives here, potentially a 4th if you go for Data Psyx for the normal Psyx objective, so you're always doing Pride Lands if you can.
S0nzero now dipping into SP, part of your initial starting world, so it doesn't hurt to go shotgun that real quick, see if there isn't any see if there's possibly any progression there for you to take.
Another visit unlock at the Oasis, unlocking TT1 for Raiden, so that's another objective on the board and another pretty check-dense first visit.
Yeah, and Raiden's going to have that, if he pushes into Twilight Town after this, he will have that Wisdom form, so he can even start leveling up that along the way. Because I imagine having that magnet and all that magnet to go along with all your other magic there, probably going to just push on up to the fairies.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Raiden opting to use some Fantasia here, using Comet to get a little bit of experience from the Shadow Swarm. Not quite a level, but pretty close.
Yeah. Definitely never a bad play to do if you got that early on. Take advantage of the 45 a pop. We'll get our first look at Nicholas' house.
Yeah.
S0nzero's in here. Or
not. Oh, he didn't realize he had the page, I don't think. I think he just autopiloted it. And a whole lot of nothing. That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, okay. Just gonna put himself one step closer to Spooky. I mean, you may as well, especially if the pages start to fall in your lap, you may as well do this. It's just... it's a proc point, and it also, gets you one step closer if you do end up finding 3 more pages.
Yeah, the early prog can definitely be nice. Depending on what content you have to push, you might not have super accessible prog points. Luckily, these players do have access to Beast Castle, and they will be pushing up to Beast for that objective most likely, so they will be getting a good amount of prog for doing that as well. I think actually, S0nzero should gain access to the next hint if he were to go to Beast Castle immediately after this.
Yeah, given where that magic stat is, you got the Thunder and Fantasia on top of that, and you've got free drive, or not free drive, you've got a free MP refill with that Wisdom form. You can definitely make quick work, and I think that's what he's set up for.
Also going to be getting Wisdom 3, maybe, if he ends up using Wisdom, but The gargoyles are a little bit annoying to kill with Wisdom form because Wisdom is so magic focused, and the gargoyles are immune to elemental magic. So your only way to kill them is with either Wisdom form pellets or by going into killing them with like the drive explosion per se. Also picking up that Proud Fang as well, so that is both Proud Fangs known. So Pride Lands 2 looking kind of nice.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice find for S0nzero to at least get progress going on Pride Lands instead of needing to hold out for level 12, which could probably get you off the Living Winds fight, depending on where their XP's sitting at.
Yeah. Raiden dipping into that TT1. Looks like he's going for shotgun routing here, potentially. Might just go for the station fight anyway. Like we were saying earlier, having access to Wisdom Form and having an objective at the top of TT1 Tower could just end up doing that right now. Good usage of Comet by S0nzero there to really get through that first phase of Thresholder a lot quicker. It's the riskier phase of the two because of those gargoyles being out, and they can definitely ruin your day pretty quickly.
Yeah, especially if you don't have good defense, which you don't right now, because it's still early on. You don't got a lot of HP to work with either, so they just mow you down in a hurry. But nicely done there from S0nzero.
Yeah, pretty fast fight.
Yeah, Comet a very nice early game tool if you try to make an aggressive push on BC, just because of the amount of damage potential you have just with its overall limit and the finisher of it.
Yeah, Raiden going all the way up the station, gonna be pushing the Fairy's objective, I believe. Death Abusing here, using the multi-hit from the Dusk to try to get as many hits as possible to get to low HP.
Yeah, and he did pick up a nice explosion back in the woods, so he's got a very nice combo now for magnetic explosion stuff, so...
Another Thunder as well, so Magnet Thundara also looking pretty good here, with, once again, a magic stat-focused seed. Those things like Explosion and higher level magics are gonna make a pretty big difference depending on what content is pushed here.
And on the other side, S0nzero finding a glide during the POTS escort.
Yeah, you love seeing early movement, so that's definitely something that they're going to be happy to see.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I didn't realize this. They also, Raiden also has access to Magnet Splash, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Raiden heading to LOD after this with Magnet Splash, Magnet Explosion for, and even, of course, having Wisdom Fire for LOD as a whole to get that Village Cave objective.
And we're with that here, we're going to be seeing our first sequence of hints coming in. And it's pretty barren. Pride Lands is done as far as like actual importance goes with the ice cream. SP has OC unlocked, and Disney Castle is dead.
Yeah, so that's an okay hint, I suppose. Getting information on OC access is pretty nice here. Unfortunately, because you now know that there's nothing deeper in Pride Lands in terms of unlocks, you're probably not going to be seeing that Hyenas objective or Scar or beyond until much, much, much later in the seed at this point.
Scary there from S0nzero's end. Was probably thinking this magic was going to do a little bit more. Ooh.
Unfortunate that they just barely couldn't make it over the Living Bones in time.
Raiden will be picking up his first hints of disappointment here. Because it's useful to an extent, but it's also, it's not great. You don't really see a whole lot to start.
Yeah. I think the most unfortunate part is the fact that it's not really hinting into the worlds that you have access to or into the worlds that you want to do yet. So it's just like, man.
Yeah, and in Raiden's case, picking up a Royal Summons at the very top of the tower.
He's opting to shotgun DC here. I imagine just looking for something like EXP booster movement here because no important checks here. So probably just taking a quick cursory glance through the courtyard here.
Never go wrong with the finishing plus. Okay, so a little bit of movement here. It's not probably the movement he's hoping to see, but I mean, it is something.
Yeah, movement is movement. Like, it's definitely not ideal, but at least you're getting some movement higher.
Yeah.
Alright, S0nzero's going to be finishing up Pride here. I'm unsure where S0nzero's going to go after this. Probably the TT1 after picking up that ice cream, and then we'll be following the same general path that Raiden already did, I imagine.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, as soon as S0nzero picks up that ice cream, Pride is full on done as far as checks go, for sure.
Raiden picking up a Reflect in the first 3 of LOD there, so early Reflect on the table is very nice to have.
Get a chance to see what else is hiding in LOD while he works towards that cave objective. I
hopefully
like
a visit unlock of some kind as well, because right now, if you don't get like a visit unlock for a useful world, you're probably going to be pushing into Halloween Town, I guess, because you're working towards an objective as well as, you know, doing an unhinted world that could have more unlocks for you.
And Raiden could still also push into DC to push towards Beast because they haven't gone in there just yet.
But, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, probably between those two as their next move. Now, if their magic gets high enough, or even higher, they might even decide that we'll just go touch up PR, see if we can't find anything. But I mean, the drawback, of course, is you're going in there unhinted and you don't have anything objective-wise there. So.
Yeah.
And it's a little more scary.
Agreed. Yeah, the other thing about PR, like, even if you're going like up to the minute fight, it's like it doesn't take too long. It's like okay amount of checks, you'll get some experience. But going past minute fight in a seed like this, unless you have it hinted, is really scary because you're committing a lot of time to a world that does not have an objective.
Start to lag here a little bit, like.
S0nzero picking up that Sword of the Ancestor. We'll have access to LOD as well now.
Also, that Mysterious Abyss is a very nice Keyblade 8/8 and a Thunder Boost on to go with that Thundara.
That is a very good Keyblade to have here. I think, honestly, if you want to do PR, you should be one-shotting Pirates at this point.
I believe so, especially that Thundara, your magic's 24 and you've got a boost, so you probably could be seeing the one-shots. I think there's a form at the far. There is. And another magic as well.
LOD paying out a little bit here.
We got Magnera, so yeah, we are big time cooking.
Yeah, Magnera is really good. Maybe in early screens might end up happening as a result of that, having Magnera to maybe get that OC access.
Maybe. I think depending on your item, I know you've got, depending on, as long as Donald doesn't die, of course, you could just do free ether with Wisdom Form.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think it'd probably pull off just a little.
Yeah, the other thing, not having it in the XP boost as of now, I don't believe. So it's like utilizing forms for MP is like perfectly okay, since you don't need to worry about your HP being at max. Don't think it would be a terrible idea to do it, but once again, if you're doing early screens, you're obviously potentially sacrificing your level grinding location, but the trade-off there, of course, is also the fact that you're not guaranteed to get good stats in these seeds. Some seeds you'll be at level 40 and you'll have like 36 or something like that, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Okay. Raiden is on his way out of here. Don't blame him. Objective's done. Don't really want to commit to a minute just yet.
yeah. Ooh, Combo Master on a key as well. Ooh, pretty unfortunate stats on. I think it was a 5-6, so probably not going to be seeing that unless you're doing harder content. Actually, Raiden did equip it, I believe. Never mind. Yep, there's that second Proud Fang for S0nzero, hitting level 12. And Raiden getting some good Valor levels here on this intro fight of Beast Castle.
Unfortunately, out of the drive to go into another form, but quickly clean house to get through that.
Yeah. We'll easily hit 3 drive as well during Thresholders, so can refill MP there if necessary.
And I think for right now, I think Raiden throwing in Combo Master Blade is probably just thinking, I can afford to do this for right now, so I'm not trying to push anything that kind of requires me to make sure that my stats are decent enough.
Yeah, that's fair. S0nzero also checking the courtyard of the blue DC. Going to be picking up that quick run, I believe it was here.
Yeah, quick run and a dodge.
Oh, there was a dodge roll as well. Okay.
Yeah, and a finishing plus on top of that. Yeah. And thankfully for Raiden, he's got a reflect going into this thresholder fights. It looks like he's going to be going for the one cycle here with Valor form.
I think he was just popping Valor to refill his drive
to
max
yep,
before
you're right.
turn.
You're right.
Yeah, there is a chance for either the Valor form one cycle, I don't know if the stats are high enough, or using the Reflect one cycle, but Reflect one cycle with Baby Reflect is really, really hard to get, so could definitely understand just opting for the normal fight here.
Yeah, in the comparison, Raiden's stats are a little bit better here to not have to try and get fancy with like comment and whatnot to get through. So it will be probably a little bit faster. Well, we might be seeing an STT dive here soon, or even an LOD push. So both of those places containing your membership card and STT with the skill and crossbones.
Yeah, that's it's a good hint to have, to be fair, but it's definitely the kind of hint that doesn't feel great right now.
I will say, as far as like the STT push, you probably would be more inclined to make that play. See if you can't find either of those unlocks while going towards the struggle trophy. But
yeah,
it's also still kind of a weird spot, because then it's like, well, what happens if it's beyond that?
Yeah, exactly. It's if you had the Hollow Bastion hint already, right, it wouldn't really feel as bad, because then you would know how important going deep in Hollow Bastion is, right? Like, yes, you do have the core objective there, but that's also the only objective in HB, so you could always end up skipping that entirely.
Yeah. Yeah, especially given the objectives you've got on the board, you can definitely make a strong case to skipping the core objective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to be honest, like, these hints aren't bad. Like I said, it's not like they're terrible hints, but they're the kind of hints that push you in a way that you're not really comfortable early.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, obviously, like now S0nzero, having seen the same sequence of hints, he's going to be a little bit closer to his next hint threshold here by the time he's leaving LOD, but he might be tempted to push on through, so...
Yeah, that's also fair. With that membership card being here, there's a pretty... there's a real chance that S0nzero ends up going all the way up to Shanyu here.
And honestly, it wouldn't really be all that bad of a thing. You know, at worst, the membership card is in LOD 2, but at the same time, you should be able to get yourself another hint finishing up LOD here off of Shanyu.
Speaking of hints, Raiden is pushing into Pridelands here, going to be going for Hyenas and potentially Scar for some prog points.
Yeah, especially if you got the items, definitely get a little aggressive here to have things set up.
Yeah, also just having a Reflect as a whole makes Hyenas and Scar really not too bad. Scar can obviously be Scar, but opting to not do Scar, just doing Hyenas 1 and leaving for now. Fair enough. Getting the objective and the prog point from that, and then going to be going somewhere else. I am curious where Raiden plans to go here. I guess, like you had commented on, SCT is not bad here. You do have an objective that, and that's where he's heading.
And
S0nzero following right behind.
The same thing.
The double up.
I mean, it's not a bad play here. You're gonna work yourself towards the struggle trophy. You've got fire in hand. Like, obviously, you know, both runners are going in at the same pace of like movement and like.
Yeah, everything is the same across the board for the tools for SCT here.
Yeah, so there's not any advantage to either one. You know, obviously the slight case you can make in Raiden's case, of course, is he is a little bit better on strength, but it's not going to make night and day different in STT.
So SCT isn't going to be super slow, but it's also not going to be super fast. You do have fire to speed up, you know, things like the Dusks and Struggles, but your Twilight Thorn is going to be potentially slow. I don't know if they'll have the damage to kill with one RC chain without letting him stand up, but...
So, oddly enough, you know, they're both gonna be getting their hints here at roughly the same time as well. So it's not like we're gonna be having a major difference on that either. So it's gonna be pretty interesting where they both go from here. Because
in my opinion, like my personal opinion, the two most appealing worlds after this, if you don't get anything valuable from Hollow Bastion 1, would probably be either SP to get the OC access, or Halloween Town because it's unhinted, and you have access to both objectives in Halloween Town.
Yeah, and your stat line isn't too bad for pushing Halloween Town either.
Yeah, you'll get through Prison Keeper all right. Oogie is going to be a little bit... I guess you do have access to Valor Form to speed up Oogie, so Oogie wouldn't be bad either. Halloween Town 2 won't be ideal, but if you just get up to Experiment and not fight Experiment, it wouldn't be too bad, because Dance Call can carry you through the other force fights.
Yep. Yeah, and you'll get good XP as well off the White Knights for the portion of getting the presents back.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, like, if you really wanted to do level 1 Experiment isn't that bad either. It's not ideal, once again, but it's honestly not that bad of a fight. You do have Dance Call to cover you. You will have Form Pops to keep you safe as well and refill your MP to use more Dance Call.
Both runners currently side-by-side action going through Twilight Thorn, so just gonna see how much damage we're looking at coming out of the neck break here.
Yeah. Yeah, Raiden's opting to wait, makes sense. S0nzero. Ooh, S0nzero's right at the edge, I think. He should be fine, though. Yep,
just barely. Oh, but into MP MP.
Oh, got parried by the creeper. That's so unfortunate. Had to do an extra combo because of that.
The world's strongest enemy on Twilight Thorn, the creeper itself, not Twilight Thorn.
Hey man, those vines are kind of scary. I'm gonna be real.
They can be. Alright, so we've got an Ice Cream in a Torn Cage, and PR, if you were looking to push on through there before, probably not as inclined to do so now with it being empty. And Hainer being Hainer there for a moment on S0nzero's side. Yeah, so now you kind of feel okay. Not great seeing a Torn Cage on forms.
Yeah, I don't know. In a way, like, it kind of feels bad, but at the same time, Spooky Cave is one of those objectives where there's so much required for you to get there. In my opinion, it's one of the least appealing objectives. That, and of course, Starry Hill. Like, either of them are both like, man, I don't want to do this if I don't have to.
That definitely makes sense for sure. Oh, and Raiden taking a DM here.
Yeah. Taking a DM because the reflect damage miss on the first reflect. That's kind of unfortunate.
So with that, S0nzero, well, I mean, technically we do have a difference in time, so S0nzero technically ahead here through STT now. Alright, so both of those unlocks are further than here, but we did get in the money pouch, so not stressing items as much now.
Yeah. They also might incentivize that Halloween Town push as well. Having items now, you don't have to worry about throwing ethers on Experiment to get as many dance calls as you need out. Or even going into SP to level grind might be more appealing now as well.
Yeah, especially both players are still a little away from that magical 20, but it would definitely be super nice now to have all those ethers to go in there for that XP grind. And unlocks are deep in STT. And it looks like Raiden's opting to dip out of here, not really saying I want that membership card as badly. Oh, nope, they just hadn't gotten to the station yet.
Oh, okay. Unfortunate.
Yeah, that is a bit of an annoying.
Nope, opting to leave anyway. Okay.
Just leaving anyway. Okay.
Yeah. That's fair. Once again, HB isn't hinted yet, so, like, HB could be completely bunk and useless at this point, so I can understand not wanting to commit more time to a world that's completed on objectives right now when you have other things that you can push that progress you towards the end of the seed.
And S0nzero deciding to go into the Honey Slider. There was nothing junk at Rabbit's house.
Yeah, Raiden opting for that Prison Keeper into Oogie here as well. So, both these plays are honestly, considering what they have right now, make perfect sense, you know? I wouldn't be surprised to see S0nzero head rate. S0nzero might go back to SCT and try to get that membership card, or might just go Halloween Town as well.
I think probably just go ahead and go Halloween Town in S0nzero's case, because you'd be able to push yourself to that next hint.
Yeah.
Hope that Hollow Bastion shows itself finally to kind of make a better case of whether or not I actually need to go finish out STT for that. Since that one's more guaranteed than the LOD membership.
Yeah, exactly.
The dance call here from Raiden, gonna get Prison Keeper lowered as much as possible. Should be able to kill or get super close here. Very nicely done. Got a cure off of that. Yeah, by the time we finish up Oogie, Raiden will have his next set of hints. Again, it's we're getting kind of to the point of where it's like, what is my next move gonna be?
Yeah, it's really, if you don't end up getting, like, a useful Viz unlock here, you either go for the membership card, right? Or I guess you can go for...
Ooh.
Oh, man, that's unfortunate. Emerald Blues did the, like, big tornado, because it got hit too far away from the carousel one time, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, like, if you don't get anything of note here, it's like you go for the membership card, or you're pushing blind into a world that you already have access to. Like, maybe doing Darkthorn, I guess, would be an option. Maybe going to SP to level, so, or, you know, SP levels / OC. I feel like, realistically, you're going to have to sacrifice screens sooner rather than later at this point. Because if that OC access is early, they get you an objective for doing Hydra, and a pretty check-dense first visit in OC1.
Yeah, especially going towards that Hydra objective. At worst, you having a better idea, of course, of what your plan for SP is, but at least this way you can get statted a bit more. If you're fortunate enough, you can push to 30 to get another hint, another park point on there. You know, at worst, you're going to end up, if it's not just after screens, probably just go do style.
Yeah. Wow. Another pretty disappointing hint, I must say.
Bro, what are these hints?
Oh, and the other Disney Castle stuff. It's great, yeah.
yeah, totally what we want to see right now. yeah.
Let's go deeper in this blue world, Smile?
Oh my gosh.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, so now those torn pages are now looking even less sexier.
Yeah, I guess if you get the
now-
drives, right? If you hear me out, if you get the drives, you get more TT access, and you can potentially get the page on drives. Then you get the other page in TT, which would give you spooky access. And then surely you just find the last ice cream in 100 Acre, which lets you do data axle.
Right.
Like that's ultra copium. Like, let me be real. That's not what's gonna happen here. But you know, there is a potential for it. Oh no! Getting comboed by the lightning from Oogie there. Just So the unfortunate part is you get hit backwards based off of the direction that Sora is facing. So Sora kept going backwards into the invisible wall there because of the direction that S0nzero was like pointed. And he just got completely comboed to death there.
And unfortunately didn't have any way out. Goofy was dead, so no way to go into form or anything to try and get out of that mess. Be curious to see if Raiden's just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and push this experiment. Because frog-wise, you might be able to get your next hint.
I think you're 1 off. I could be wrong, but I think you might be 1 point off. But I guess like the other thing that you could be thinking, if you're in Raiden's shoes here, is even if I go to SP and level, I'm probably not breaking the floor for experiment with this level grind.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
like, if Raiden was already above level 20, I'd say, yeah, do SP first, but because he's still below level 20, there's, like, a really real chance that, like, he gets a very few stats up to level 20, and then level 20 to, like, 22 is all just, you know, like, defense or AP or whatever. Raiden actually taking a second, opting to dance call on the enemies outside of Santa's house, trying to get that level up.
May as well. This is some really good XP here on the second visit.
Yeah, it's also very safe experience too, because Dance Call kills outright. Up to level 19 now. 27 magic as well.
2 levels off that. Raiden also hasn't visited people yet, I believe, so. Just deciding on what his next move is.
Yeah, setting up for a quick run here.
Probably feeling like this is the last resort option. Try and go hunting.
Yeah, this is still unhinted. You are working towards Psyx as well. Gotta get that Wisdom 4 as well.
Yeah, so neither player's hit 4 yet, so we don't know if there's anything in wait. So, yeah, Raiden just grinding out some Wisdom here. While probably going to go ahead and do Roxas, considering they took off guard and dodge roll.
Alright, so we'll see if S0nzero wants to do... Oh man, that's so unfortunate. White Knight doing the instant attack rather than the slower option didn't end up getting the dance call out in time on S0nzero's end. But what I was going to say is we'll see if S0nzero wants to do level 1 experiment here, or if he ends up opting for different content after this. Oh, on the wrong menu. Another unfortunate misinput there. Not really the end of the world. Does have 3 drives, so can refill drive at a save point. Raiden into the quick run as well, so Raiden's got that locked in, provided no disaster.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I thought S0nzero was going to be in trouble there for a moment.
Those graveyards, if they get a hold of the presence, like, being in that scenario is really bad because you use Dance Call, so you're out of MP. So you either have to try to form pop or throw 2 ethers while they're going completely psychotic around you.
And at this point in time, they will absolutely just obliterate you.
Yeah, even later, just being on crit versus graveyards as a whole, they're just an extremely threatening enemy. Very aggressive, very high damage, very high combo potential as well, so just a rough enemy to need to deal with.
Yep. Right. Well over halfway here on quick running Roxas, so hopefully this, because I feel like probably right now this is a bit of a gamble that you're hoping that there's something from here on up to Sigmar.
Yeah. I guess, like, either way, this is a gamble, but I'd also argue it's kind of a safe gamble because you do have an objective here. So it's not like if you push SP and then that Battlefields of War ends up being an SP2, right? It's like you push SP for nothing at that point. You know what I mean? So at least, well, hey, speaking of SP2, there's SP2 access for Raiden, so that Battlefields is guaranteed to be accessible on Raiden's end. Also picking up Pan for Psyx potentially.
Yeah, so Data Science almost looks like, especially depending on what World Never Was reveals, you might just say, screw it, I'll just go do Data Science after Ground Shaker.
Yeah.
Because rather than have to go through 2 more fights just to get to normal Syax, you just go through all of Pride Lands 2 and then just go do that.
Yeah. Especially because, like, I guess it is a little bit dependent on where your sets end up being, right? Like, if you end up above the ceiling, or, you know, near the ceiling for World That Never Was, Xigbar Luxord can be very fast, so... But if you're already going up the Ground Shaker, and it's like, you might as well just do the data fight at that point. Another thing that you could weigh into that decision as well is that's a lot of prog points if you do the data, right? So if you decide to commit to that slightly early and just fight the data, you get a good amount of prog points as well as 2 objectives.
And trying to squeeze out some more levels here. Got from 9, no, only got 1 more level because they did level up the 4 Roxas. So.
S0nzero also committing to fighting Scar here. We'll be opening up that Pride Lands 2 axis. And Raiden going for levels in SP. Or Battlefields, either way.
So, unfortunate news. There's nothing more to be gained other than Final Form in World That Never Was. Halloween Town is officially done. Yeah, S0nzero's. I think with the info that's being presented, you're kind of at this point of like, okay, Hollow Bastion at this point has to have an ice cream. Well, not like guaranteed, but like going through S0nzero's head, that's probably what he's thinking.
Yeah, he's hoping for some unlock there. Like, the other Battlefields is probably the other thing that S0nzero would be like, man, I really hope this is here. Because, once again, that's an unhinted world. It has a good amount of checks at first visit, and there are 2 objectives relating to that world as well. Raiden picking up the second Sword of the Ancestor now on levels.
Yeah, so we really don't have a whole lot of unlocks left to get revealed at this point.
Yeah, the only things that are unhinted are the second Battlefields, the 3rd Ice Cream, and both Scimitars.
We still have Limit Form and Master Form items.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 more Torn Page to find.
Yeah, that Torn Page could end up being very important too. Like, there is always potential that you end up getting either the Torn Page on drives or getting the TT access and getting the Torn Page there. So if the final Torn Page is somewhere along your path, that Spooky Cave opens up and feels like a much better option to work towards, you know?
Alright, so Raiden deciding to leave at level 28. Their stat line did improve quite a bit, and there's the membership card. Just inside the mansion.
As well as auto limit.
So yeah, stat-wise, Raiden's looking a little bit nicer here.
Yeah, 2833, not bad stats at all. Magic creeping above the floor for the World That Never Was, strength nearly there. But once again, it's not like... You're most likely not going back to the World That Never Was at this point. Unless you just don't want to do Data Scix for whatever reason.
Yeah, for S0nzero, last item in STT found just before the computer room. And also getting a nice little extra prog point to go with that.
Raiden also committing to doing the hustle program fight. Soon, hoping for that Battlefields, because if that Battlefields ends up being deep in SP2, that's kind of unfortunate. You really want it to be here. S0nzero getting our first checks in Hollow Bastion. hoping that there's something worthwhile here. And it's looking like there might not be. Yep, gonna be heading into that. Bailey does pick up the final Thunder, though, so Thundaga on the table for S0nzero. Raiden going in and doing the pages that he has available. Gonna be getting a little bit of prog, not gonna be enough for a hint, but working towards, once again, an unhinted world and potentially another objective there. Oh, never mind, not even gonna bother with the minigames yet. Raiden is committing for that Battlefields and SP2 here.
Yeah, I was just commenting, but apparently my mic had shut itself off or something. But yeah, unfortunate news to find that OC unlock being deeper in SP.
Yeah. Does have access to it. This SP2 is honestly a pretty scary world to need to do, like low tool, low stat, just because the Devastators are really threatening, and even without that, just the enemies and the amount of enemies that you have to handle in a singular fight. If you can't kill them quickly, it can put you in some really bad positions. Ah, man, really unfortunate there. Those Magnum loaders, if they end up spreading out, can get really hectic just because they will start up attacks quite quickly, and once again, being low statted and without having the safety net of second chance once more, they will kill quite quickly because of how high of a battle level world this is. S0nzero also going into SP and getting into screens here. Don't know exactly what he has for a setup here. Ooh, Thundaga is just one-shotting, actually.
It's actually really good to see. There's less magic being consumed.
Yeah, also just being able to one-shot means you're getting more kills, you're wasting less time between the kills, so more experience overall. Also, being able to utilize that Wisdom Form for MP refills as well.
Ooh, yeah, had to immediately get out of there just so he didn't get caught up by the Thresher. Or straight for that Thresher. Yeah, sorry about that.
S0nzero should be finishing out here. Yeah. Raiden also into the second force fight, SP2 here. This one not as bad just because you have less enemies at a time to deal with here. Devastator's still remaining really, really scary though.
That should be better. Apparently my clip-on mic did not really charge all that force. But I am back.
Okay, Raiden through that second fight. Fortunately, gonna need to go. Oh, he hasn't actually bought ethers yet. Never mind. So that's our first ether shopping on Raiden's end there. Picking up a few elixirs as well to prep for later in the seed. S0nzero on the hostile program using some Duck Flare, which got from, I think that must be the staff that's equipped. I think that was the Nobody Lance. So making pretty quick work of Pulsar Program here, having good stats and having Duck Flare to absolutely shred through the health bar. And Raiden onto Solar Sailor here. So Solar Sailor is, once again, one of those pretty scary fights when you don't have super good stats. Up to 35 magic now, though, so this should be fine. Using setup for some safety for the 2 Devastators that spawned at the start. Probably going to see a form pop after this, or an Elixir, because he's hovering an Elixir. So, going to refill his MP to be able to stay safe here. Probably going to just use Thunder to the best of his ability to kill the small enemies, and then once last phase spawns, either going into like Comet or another setup from Tron here. Meanwhile, S0nzero is leveling up Valor form, getting Valor 4 on the DC hallway just to be safe. Make sure that there's no Page or Ice Cream on that Valor 4.
Yeah, I don't know if you commented on the next unlocks, but those are not a good hint to see for 100 Acre.
Yeah, the other battlefields being there, not ideal. That does kind of chain into everything else. Raiden did actually pick up the battlefields from Solar Sailor there, so will be our first player into OC. S0nzero is going into Predlands too here, working towards those other objectives.
Yeah, he might be feeling good about pushing on through to Ground Shaker.
Yeah, after the level grind, I mean, strength is still not where you'd want it to be to do like the Berserk 1 cycle, but magic is okay here, so it's not terrible.
And at this, well, we've got access to Final Form now, with Light and Dark being locked away in OC.
Yeah, that's honestly a really, really good pickup too. Final Form, in my opinion, one of the most important checks in League settings as a whole. Having access to a powerful form with a second Keyblade is so nice. Being able to supplement your stats is really, really helpful for clearing through a seed.
Interesting. S0nzero's back in LOD here, and I'm guessing is chasing after the other membership card at this point in just hopes of... I mean, they've got full access to LOD, so...
Yeah.
And realistically, it wouldn't be too bad in general, with given that making your way towards core, even if you start doing the core fights, you can get some good XP off that to make the rest of Pride Lands better.
Mm-hmm. Also, utilizing this minute fight to level up some limit form here, maybe trying to pull that Ice Cream or Torn Page off of limit 1 through 4.
That would be a big find.
Raiden getting through that Hades escape really quick. Once again, having stats in tools at this point.
Oh, and got snagged by Bolt Tower. It's not going to quite get... Might get...
Yeah, not going to get level 4. Did get the other limit, but just was not able to get level 4. That's super unfortunate.
And you see Raiden going ahead and forcing
Raiden
Final
trying
Form.
to force, but he can't force here because he has a force party member in Orin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably realized that after a couple of attempts of not getting ANT.
Yeah, better that you notice it that quickly, because you can definitely space on it and waste a lot of time doing that in certain scenarios.
S0nzero.
He's going to SCT. I wonder if he's going to SCT to try to force auto limit leveling. I'm not sure.
I think you'd probably just go to like DC or something where it's a little bit safer, but it's not going to take too terribly long to
doing it in the world that never was. I think that's what he's doing. I could be wrong. Yeah, it does seem to be the play he's going for here. Ooh, that's some really unfortunate health. Gonna need to either unequip some armor, I don't even think it would make a difference. But yeah, gonna have to tap the save point to get a little bit of HP back and then get hit again. Yep, just one limit away. That's so unfortunate. Would have had that level 4 if it wasn't for that Bolt Tower RC.
Yeah, unfortunate, the pesky Bolt Towers. It's definitely, like, you definitely want to do Ragnaroks to try and, like, clear stuff out, drop some money, try and get some XP along the way, but you're almost always safer trying to do Sonic Blades in there, just to not even give the Bolt Towers a time of day to try and snag you.
Mm-hmm. S0nzero push it over to the Oasis to get Simba, and then I assume going into that Ground Shaker objective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, meanwhile, we will be getting a look at the back end of OC. Still haven't found anything. We're still searching for that ice cream or any sign of that other torn page, just to even maybe give yourself a glimmer of hope on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that you know that your OC2 access is in 100 Acre, and we know that it's beyond Rabbit's house from S0nzero's side, definitely gonna need as many pages as you can get.
Yeah. Alright, and it looks like S0nzero is opting to go for Experiment before going to Ground Shaker here. Just getting another objective done.
Yeah, and I think with that will get them their final hint as well, to fully have everything in place. So probably just doing this as the safer option, with them being able to shred with Duck Flare here and just do this normal.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to, yeah, I was gonna say, have to be careful there for a moment, because downside of doing Duck Flare off rip is Experiment's body will break apart. And yeah, popped Wisdom there to say, ooh, don't know if he meant to do Dance Call.
Dance Call will be... It's pretty equivalent damage between the two, actually, right now. Because with your magic set being higher, Dance Call's going to be doing a lot of damage, but Duck Flare lasts longer, so you can get slightly more physical combos out. So, it's... Oh, no!
Ooh, yeah.
Couldn't get the third Ether Pop in time.
Yeah, because the drawback, of course, doing Dance Call is you don't have the luxury to be able to pop items to be set to go once the limit expires.
Yeah.
But yeah, now Raiden officially, now that he doesn't have a forced party member, is forcing Final Form here. Finally getting it.
Yeah, definitely not one of the most common places that you see someone forcing Final, but good heads-up play from Raiden to remember that you can do it there.
Alright, and
ooh,
okay.
Picking up an ice cream. Wow.
That's actually kind of nice. I mean, especially if you can find your other forms.
Yeah, you do also have Final Form levels that you can get. You'd only get, I think, level 3 for doing Sandlot, right? But that would be Final 3. You could go out of your way to go level Valor and Wisdom really quickly as well. S0nzero squeezing out as much of that limit timer as he possibly can there. Just barely not pushing Experiment to final phase. Oh, it splits apart again, too. Whoa, that is really unfortunate.
I'm actually really surprised at this point that S0nzero is not just going ahead with Duck Flares, just to kind of give yourself a safer kill with the stat line that you've got.
Yeah.
Because at least first phase, yeah, Dance Call definitely going to be your best option to get through that, and then after that, you know, save Donald, and which, I mean, he's not on the field right now, but get him out on the field, of course, and just go to town with Duck Flares like you would in vanilla. But it is sticking with Dance Calls here. I almost think you don't even do the finisher. Like you
I
let
think
it
the
drain.
reason why he's doing the finisher is to try to get him to break apart. Because he'll break apart if his health is low enough from the finisher, but just barely not doing enough damage to get there.
Yeah,
Okay, broke
now
apart
breaking
again.
apart again.
Okay, gets the guard.
Oh man, that's really close to the head here.
Yeah, gonna need to toss again, but should be okay. Oh, no hitbox. That's so unfortunate.
Oh man.
Didn't expect the head. Expected him to reform, I imagine, there. But the head not colliding with the body there made it so. Just retaliated again. Raiden, meanwhile, is going into that TT2 that he gained access to. Going to be getting some final form levels here. There's final level 3. No important checks.
Squeeze out another level as a whole, and getting an accessory slot too. So has a little bit more juice for
Oh man.
Ground Shaker. Yeah, S0nzero having an absolute rough time here right now with the experiment. Alright, looks like Raiden's just, I think, going to be full sending to Psyx.
I wonder if part of the reason why Raiden's doing this is to have easier access to nobody's level final form. Because
Most likely.
other than that, like, you really don't have anywhere that you can right now.
Yeah, and our last torn page, with Raiden going ahead on the hint here. Our last torn page somewhere in HB. And,
Yeah,
we also have Master Form.
That's not ideal.
Nope.
Because we know that's in HB2 guaranteed.
Yeah,
So.
especially because that basically you're already locked out of Spooky, you're locked out of OC for second visit, and you're locked out currently unless it's on Final Form or Wisdom 5 or Valor 5. You're locked out of Axel 2. You don't have the core objective.
Yeah. Oh man, Experiment is really not being kind to S0nzero here.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'll kind of continue to say I'm really surprised with second phase after he does manage to get the body put back together. Just not going ahead and just doing duck flares, given the items are plenty to go here to safely navigate through that second phase into the kill. Kind of keep an eye on Raiden here as he's navigating up towards another money pouch. So we are very much rich and second chance.
Wow.
Oh, and the body broke apart again on him.
Yeah, just not having enough time to throw the items here.
All right, well, final form not having anything either, so yeah, unfortunately now you're stuck in a spot where the body's gonna need the finisher, and now we're also kind of in a weird spot, but we should be okay.
Yeah. Form pop revert and then just into a second dance call. Yeah, very rough for S0nzero there. Unfortunate. Experiment not playing kind, just being as rude as Experiment can be there. Now, S0nzero needs to make a decision of what content he pushes. Is going to go for that other membership card after getting that last hint information.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably your best bet. as we see nothing on up to final 5 so far. So wherever these wherever this ice cream and torn page are, it's either deep on forms or we gotta find another form to get us there.
Yeah. Because Raiden doesn't have access to that auto limit either. Because that was in SCT Mansion, so...
I imagine we'll probably be going there fairly soon once they get their SciX objective.
Yeah. I think the thing that really sucks from like Raiden's perspective right now is if he does all objectives he has access to, he needs to just get access to one more objective at that point. Like if he does Experiment, Ground Shaker, SciX, he just needs one more, and then it's a matter of choosing which one to push towards with the information that you have. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, the membership card is in LOD2, so we're at least got to get to Throne Room.
Yeah, I'm not shocked by this development, to be honest.
Nope. LOD gonna LOD.
This seed is definitely not not really being the kindest.
No. Raiden going ahead and just accepting the DM here from L0rdRaiden.
Yeah, without having limit form to damage down and not being... I mean, he does have 41 strength, but even with 41 strength, if you don't have aerial spiral, you're kind of in the awkward position of you need to get L0rdRaiden to the bottom of the room. Oh no! So Riku, as a fight, is a sleeper for being absolutely terrible, because he actually does a lot of damage. So if you don't have Trinity Limit and Limit Form to give you iframes when you're in a bad scenario, you kinda can just get cooked by Riku.
Yeah, and to add on to the fact that Riku doesn't stagger, so...
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't stagger, and his move choice isn't exactly the most predictable. Like whether or not he's gonna dash or do the combo, or if he's gonna do the helm splitter after the dash, or if he's gonna use the projectiles. Like, at least in my opinion, he's not very predictable. So
no, I honestly agree with you there. You think you know everything that Riku's gonna do, and it looks like he's gonna do one move, and he's just hitting you with a curveball. Right, making good use of final form here on SciX. Is a little short on damage here.
oh, Donald died. I think he wanted to go... Oh wait, he doesn't... I don't think he has Duck Flare actually, does he? It was on the Nobody Lance, and I don't think Donald has that equipped.
Yeah, and I don't remember where we got that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I just knew all of a sudden S0nzero was using Duck Flare, and I was like, oh, when did we get that?
Yeah, I saw him equip it in before going into Hostile Program, but I'm not sure where it was picked up. There's a chance that Raiden already has it picked up, but has not checked Donald's stabs.
And unfortunately for S0nzero, not having that light and dark either from OC, we're losing out on some extra nobody experience grinding.
Yeah. Also missing out on damage, considering S0nzero's only at 32-34 right now.
Yeah, Rain gonna find the sad music once he gets through Piglet's minigame here that, in fact, you are gonna have to continue further on hunting for these pages.
Okay, the membership card isn't on Storm Rider, at least.
That is a plus, and thankfully it's done here, so you don't even have to concern yourself about once more being walked away on Storm Rider either. Possibly it could be anything else, but
S0nzero gonna be the first person into HB2. Time to see if this page and master form are equally as cursed as everything else has been this seed.
Yeah, because considering he's already leveled limit up to level 4, and this, depending on where this master form is, you'll be able to at least get your forms up to 5, but it's still not looking super great considering finals up to 5 and nothing to that point.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, like, it's going to be hard to argue not just doing core immediately, but once again, S0nzero does not have final form, so not going to have, like, the injection of stats that you have for having a second Keyblade for the core fights.
Yeah, and Rain going ahead and just prepping Kenga's house.
Yep, makes sense. I mean, at this point, pages are on the way to multiple objectives, so, like, you're most likely going to be working towards Spooky Cave, at least adjacently, because you need pages to get OC, you might get a page on the way to get to Data Axle, and vice versa, so...
Yeah, and the good news, thankfully, the torn page in TT3 can't be on Data Axle, so that is at least a big sigh of relief to not have to worry about.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Okay, well, there's our master form.
Okay.
So that's at least a plus going into core. Get started on leveling that up.
Mm-hmm. Raiden gonna go in and level Wisdom and Valor really quickly.
Yep, having to pop a recovery real quick. Well, S0nzero going to go ahead and take advantage of leveling Wisdom during the first fight.
Must be really close to getting that level 5.
Oh my gosh.
Alrighty, wow.
Alright, we're really digging deep for this. Depending on how... Oh, yeah. Depending on how hard...
Nice.
Okay, I like this from Raiden. Gonna go ahead and just chase after the limit for him. So wouldn't need the auto limit that was in STT.
Yeah. Also, another thing that will also give him, 4 more additional checks on its own, because we'll be able to get to level 6s. And, like, the other thing about pushing for limit form here is there's not that many checks in BC2, so you'll most likely be getting it before needing to fight Zaldin, because I think is it 2 on Zaldin or 3 on Zaldin? And then there's the 2 on Rumbling Rose, right? I think it's 1 pop-up and 1 bonus.
2 on Rumbling Rose, because you get the Keyblade and map, I believe. And then Zaldin, I think, is 2 and I usually just wait to see whatever happens half the time. Like, I know that there's stuff there, but I don't remember, like, the exact count on some of them.
S0nzero opting to Death Bees here, which allows for some pretty fast Master Form leveling. Because dying respawns enemies and resets, like, world state things, so those orbs that you can get the drive orbs from respawn, so you can level up Master very quickly. And nothing on Master 5 either. Oh, man.
Man. Okay, so... limit form, your only hope before we're hard required to get another form. Because that's the only form that we don't know at this point for level 5 status.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Man.
S0nzero is gonna do the Dancer fight here. I imagine just gonna do this to get access to the other chests, the 2 in Restoration Site here, hoping for that Torn Page.
Yeah,
Reflect and Limit for Raiden.
On Rumbling. So
And there's something more there, which is insane.
Okay, well, Raiden going into STT now, so...
Oh, this also kind of works, because he can go and get that membership card while he's here, too. So we can level Limit and get the membership card.
Yep. And thankfully for Raiden, if he pushes back into LOD to get the other membership card, that Master Form isn't too deep.
Yeah.
So we'd have full access to all forms.
S0nzero buying a stock of elixirs, and then I assume he's going for that core play here.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing with what he just did.
A little bit scary for S0nzero. Has the 11 elixirs that he just bought, but is out of ethers entirely now.
Yeah, and unfortunately the other money pouch being after Zigbar.
Yeah, you're not seeing that if you're S0nzero, most likely. I mean, once again, there is always a chance that S0nzero does that instead of Data Zoldan, or sorry, Data Syx, because S0nzero does not have Pan. So S0nzero would be fighting Data Syx straight up.
That's right, because Pan was on Roxas.
I don't know if they have double negative combo. I know that they have one at the very least, but I don't know if they have both.
Yeah, it's actually a good question.
Oh, negative combo was after Roxas? Oh.
Oh, yeah, so that's even...
hey.
Yeah. And not having second chance to just kind of safely get into auto limit.
Yeah. Also, this is a little bit scary for S0nzero. Limit form is a really good form. The only problem is with how apt enemies are to completely avoid what you're doing in Core 1, and the fact that the ghosts can only take damage from magic can put you in some really bad spots. S0nzero is handling this really well, though. Timing his Ragnaroks pretty good to stay safe, parrying an attack with it there. Utilizing a lot of those elixirs, though, is a little bit scary.
Yeah, getting caught up. Yeah. Yeah, you leave yourself so wide open, unfortunately, in the middle of a Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm. Raiden up to limit level 5 and still not getting any of those important checks. Ooh, at a MP at level 6 limit and nothing. Oh no. So Raiden has 4 more checks that he can get, or 3 more, pardon me. He can get Valor, Wisdom, and Final 6 before continuing.
Oh my gosh.
He's not going to get Final 6 from the pre-Bailey nobodies, but he'll be close to a level, and he'll still have to go out of his way to go level Valor and Wisdom, though. Oh, man.
This is just... Like, it was looking, it was looking okay for the most part early on.
It wasn't terrible.
And now we're just stuck here in no man's land hunting for this torn page, because these torn pages are basically the key to everything at this point.
Yeah. Everything is just chained together so much. It's like... It's just what point of the chain do you start to activate on, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's going to hope that this Master Form and Torn Page are both here, which we know it's not. We still haven't even found that other Torn Page for Health Bastion yet either.
I feel like it's most likely here in Core.
Oh man, I really hope so.
I do too at this point.
Like, for both runners' sake, I honestly really hope so, because...
This is rough, yeah. Like, the seed is not playing nice. S0nzero getting into the bulk of the checks here in Core. Hoping to see that Torn Page. We'll be continuing through anyway to get that Core objective regardless, but either way.
Okay, yeah, well, that's a Scimitar, which is useless. Nothing over here. Oh man.
Oh man. Okay.
And okay, well, there's the Torn Page just
Torn
before
Page
the second fight.
Not bad. Raiden going into DC to go level Wisdom and Valor up to level 6. Again, like, what else are you gonna do in this scenario? Like, you have to do it, but it's just like, it feels so bad to need to come back here for, I think this is either the second or third time.
Yeah, like you're at this point probably, if it's not here on, well, there's an ice cream
that gets you Data Axle, and Raiden needs one more page to get Spooky.
So now you're hoping this torn page is on Wisdom.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get Final Form in TT3 for sure.
Yeah, you're hoping that that other page is on Final or Wisdom, because then you don't have any extra content. Raiden would just have to go do Experiment. Oh my god. I mean, Raiden is in Go mode right now, right? Like, Raiden can just do Experiment, Ground Shaker, Data Axle, and be done with it.
He's already... Oh, yeah, Data Axle, yeah. I didn't be able to Psyx.
Needs to refresh story flags. Okay, S0nzero is into the second core fight, which is another one of those fights where Final Form just completely solves the fight for you, and without it, it's a lot scarier. Utilizing some Wisdom Form into a Duck Flare, very good usage there. Keeps him safe. Gonna throw an Elixir, can throw out another Duck Flare right after this to stay safe. Yep. Has Magnet Splash on for some extra crowd control too.
Oh, and hey, how about that? Another glide to add to everything.
Really, really good item and limit usage from S0nzero to get through that fight. Yeah, that fight, in all honesty, with bad tools, Core 2 is so brutal. It's just so brutal.
Yep. A lot of ability shots here.
Oh, an aerial dodge as well, why not?
Yeah.
S0nzero going into a form to refill MP to use Duck Flare to get through the steam vents without needing to worry about getting hit back. Raiden on his way to the mansion. Oh, not having MP to use a Reflect there, or any magic to air stall for S0nzero. Little bit unfortunate, has to wait for his MP to refill. Raiden's going to be just short of final level 6 here as well, so Raiden's going to need to do a little bit more to get that final level 6.
S0nzero just coming up short.
Yeah. With only Glide 2, you have to be really accurate with your... Well, actually, it's not only just Glide 2, also only having Aerial Dodge too, so not keeping as much momentum from that Aerial Dodge. There you go. Picking up that objective. So I imagine that S0nzero is going to head right to 100 Acre after this, right? And see if he gets that Battlefields of War out of the next Torn page. Speaking of which, Raiden picking up the Torn page in Mansion. And the last Torn page, or the last unknown Torn page, I should say, is either on Master 6 or a Form level 7.
Oh my goodness.
That is brutal.
Oh. S0nzero didn't have drive to go into auto limit.
Yep, gonna be getting that limit level 5 and being disappointed.
Yep.
Raiden doing some Keyblade checks really quick. Oh, I believe Raiden actually just equipped Drive Converter. Yeah, he did. He's a level Auto Master on the Gamblers in the dining room here. Has second chance, so gets into critical health really quick.
Yep, so we'll be able to make good use of that. So now we'll really get to know if we gotta go after. There's only one outcome. It's either on 6 or we gotta go get master form.
Yeah. And the other thing that sucks from Raiden's point of view from that is that master form could be anywhere in HB as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, I think if Raiden doesn't get the page on Master 6 here, he just commits to
And
the
it's
go mode.
on a 7.
It's on a 7. I think he just commits to his go mode now.
Yeah.
Maybe not. He's routing towards White Room, so maybe not.
Maybe just trying to reset and once more sitting there. Oh, and there's the battlefields.
Oh, Raiden's gonna be picking this up right now, actually.
Yep.
So Raiden can skip. I guess Raiden's probably gonna end up skipping.
He could just skip Data Axle at this point and just go do.
He's one fight away from Data Axle though, and he needs to do Scar, Hyenas 2, Ground Shaker.
Yeah, he hasn't finished out PL1. Yeah, so
I think you skip Ground Shaker here.
Mm-hmm.
S0nzero going into, dude. I mentioned it on commentary before. Entering a world for the first time an hour and a half into the seed is one of the most demoralizing things about these settings. Like, it just feels so terrible. S0nzero entering OC1 for the first time an hour and a half in because of how deep all of these OC unlocks were. It's just absurd. But yeah, Raiden on his way to that Hades objective, then just has to clean up Data Axle or Ground Shaker, and then Experiment.
Yeah, which pretty much just about anyway he goes. Yeah, S0nzero now seeing light and dark is gonna go immediately force final form. Yeah, haven't been here to Agrabah. May as well take advantage of it. This is like one of your only other good spots to go quickly do it outside of going back into World That Never Was for the umpteen millionth time, pretty much. Like for Raiden, at least, he's at least feeling better about, okay, I don't gotta go back to DC now to try and hunt this last page.
I mean, with Raiden being in go mode now, he's probably just like, okay, there's no more thoughts, it's just execute, just play the game. There's nothing more to think about, you just have to input the correct things.
Push button, go fast.
Indeed. That is always the goal, after all.
Yep. Alright, so yeah, we're getting done pretty quickly here with this Hades objective with stat line they've got. A little too high to continue on the combo, but no big deal. Just restart it, of course.
Alright, Hades down. Horizontal Slash was in Agrabah.
Oh my gosh.
It was in Agrabah Market.
Of course, the place that has nothing tied to it but whatever magic or summon is lying in wait there. And no objectives to go with you.
Pretty quick force from S0nzero there. I think that was third try.
Yep.
Heading right to DC to go level Wisdom and Valor.
And yeah, I mean, still had light and dark on. That's unfortunate.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know if he has the drive recovery.
He does.
He has
thankfully.
a normal one.
Okay.
Because I knew I had seen him use the high drive recovery at some point, so I was like, oh no.
Raiden gonna go ahead and do some final form here on Experiment.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really good damage. The only unfortunate thing about using Final Form is you can only split by hitting with the last hit of that air finisher there with Final Form, so you have to actually wait out the whole combo, which is something you almost never do with Final.
Yeah,
But
nicely
super
done
fast
there.
fight.
Yeah. So now we'll see if Rin just goes ahead with Data Axle. I imagine so.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's less fights. You have the 2 quick force fights for betwixt and between, because Raiden's stats are really good now. He's at 42, 44, so Magna Explosion kills everything. And he also has Limit Form to pop as well. And then just has to route back to the mansion, which with level 3 movement is going to be very, very quick.
Yeah, and we'll have a very easy time being able to loop Data Axle on top of that with that explosion and having Thunder as well to just kind of keep that loop up.
Yeah, also has Blizzara, so can opt for doing as much damage with Blizzards beforehand if he doesn't want to do the RC loop. Like, there are some comfortable options on Raiden's end to get through the fight.
Yeah, the world is his oyster at this point.
Alright, through betwixt and between. Once again, like, very, very fast with having Magnera in these sets for sure. S0nzero heading back into core to get that master level 6.
Yep. And that's the one thing that sucks, like, especially when a form gets shown, and the one thing that you're kind of really banking on for another objective at this point is just so deep.
Oh, this is unfortunate for S0nzero. So, the Garden of Assemblage is actually in Hollow Bastion, so warping out doesn't reset the world state. So he had to, well, I assume he probably warped out to actually get his drive back, but either way, that first red drive orb doesn't respawn when you go to the GOA. Like, if you go to the GOA from any other world, enemies will respawn and such, right? But because the GOA is part of Hollow Bastion, it's not far enough away for them to respawn, because you have to go a certain number of rooms away for things to repopulate. A little bit unfortunate. Honestly, doesn't waste that much time. It's just more so annoying than anything else. Alright. S0nzero got that master level 6. Unfortunately, didn't get anything from it, so now has to make a decision of what content to do here. Knowing that SP, or OC2 is locked by SP, which is locked by the world that never was.
Yep, and still is at the start of everything, so needs to get through.
I'm gonna level that auto limit up to level 6 before anything else, though.
And unfortunately not having second chance. If he goes to auto limit there on Roxas, it's going to be a little bit sketchy.
Yeah. Raiden into the RC loop on Data Axle, by the way. It should be fine. Under most circumstances, as long as you were deliberate with your actions on Axel, you don't have too much to worry about. The only thing to keep in mind is when Axel does the ground slam from the wall, rather than the slide, his RV does not fully reset, so he can sometimes retaliate earlier than you are expecting. This attack right here that he just did is the one that you have to look out for. But as long as you are cognizant and, you know, take things one attack at a time, you should be fine.
And the biggest thing with this is trying to stay relatively in the center of the arena, especially if he doesn't do from the top, because
you have less time to react with the slide.
Yeah, I can very quickly get caught up in it, be taken out.
S0nzero finishing out TT2 really quick, getting up to that final level 3, and still just hoping and praying that the Torn page is just on the next level.
Gonna very quickly find out that it is in fact in TT3, which of course at the same time we tell him that I've unfortunately now really got to push OC as fast as I can.
Yep. About faces immediately goes right into OC.
That's that is unfortunately just something with Rando that can happen. It's just one of those things of you're hoping with the info that you got that it's just gonna be there, and then as you continue to go on deeper and deeper, it just continues to go further and further down the rabbit hole. Not much you can do but just do your best to try and get to it.
Yeah. Like, this seed is chain locked pretty solidly, and it's like there are a few ways that you can go about it, but regardless, you are interacting with that chain one way or another, and it's like there's not much that you can really do as a player when you're presented with that. Also, Raiden getting his final objective there, very well done on that fight. Yeah, there's not much that you can do with when you're interacting with it other than just needing to clear it. It's like you can cope, of course, but like if your cope doesn't work, you're just back in the same scenario of needing to follow the chain whichever way it brings you.
Raiden just powering on through to the start of final fights. Stats are plenty good to go.
Yeah, doesn't need to level at all here. Also has Magnera, has Final Form, so Engine Core is going to be really quick here. Should just be able to blitz through these fights.
Unfortunately for S0nzero, is very much running on hard borrowed time. Just a lot of content still to have to get through. Experiment really kind of derailed a lot of that, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, from S0nzero's perspective, he is in go mode here. So after Hydra, he just has to go do Ground Shaker and then Psyx, and he is on his way to final fights. But again, it's one of those things where it's like you have so many things that could have fallen into place where it is so much faster than needing to commit to doing, you know, so much extra content. Extra in quotes. Obviously, if it's required content to beat the seed, it's required content, but it feels like additional content when you're so close to a go mode.
Exactly. Yeah, and especially when, you know, as we mentioned earlier, when one part of that is connecting like 3 or 4 of your objectives.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the ice cream on forms was kind of one of the bigger roadblocks.
Yeah. The other part of that as well is because of the fact that none of these objectives are really in the same world as each other, with the exception of Hydra and Hades. It's like there's no way every single objective chains from this one thing, you know what I mean? It's one thing if it's like, oh, you have 3 Pride Lands 2 objectives, or you have like 3 Agrabah objectives, and you don't have access to Agrabah. It's like, obviously, yeah, I need to do that to get those 3 objectives. But when you have 4+ objectives that are all chaining from the same amount of content, but not in the same worlds, it doesn't feel like, okay, yeah, I need to rush to get this thing, or I need to commit to getting this right now kind of deal. Because it's like, surely the hat drops, or, you know, and I get the thing I need in a different way, you know, or, oh, hey, I get access to a different torn page, or, oh, hey, the torn page is just in TT2, or I have level 5 drives now, I can get XYZ here instead, kind of thing. But it just all chained together this seed.
Right now, on to Armor 2. It's going to be basically vanishing here very quickly as Phase 1 is already done. Thankfully, you know, Scum in hand, plenty of tools at your disposal. Final fights are not going to be as scary as some of the other seeds that we have seen.
Oh, for certain, yeah. Not only that, having really good stats as well. So, like, you're going to get through really quickly on, like, things like Xemnas and whatnot. There's S0nzero picking up that TT3 axis. So I guess for S0nzero, probably ends up skipping Psyx now. Does Hydra, goes to TT, picks up the page, and does Ground Shaker and Spooky Cave, most likely.
Most likely.
Raiden on to Final Sentence here.
Yep.
With 45 magic and Reflera, this is going to go quite quickly. You can get him all the way to laser phase immediately, or can opt to sack a Reflector to get Dome Skip using Limit Form instead. Taking the cutscene. Pops into Limit Form. Really scary orbs. Point blank orbs is honestly one of the most frustrating things that Zemnis can do. Didn't get a stagger on him, so went into laser phase there.
Yeah. Just as fine. Gonna be a little bit slower than being able to just go straight in with Limit Form, but with the Reflera and stat line here, just gonna just wait this out for a moment.
Yeah, taking it safe to guarantee that he's gonna get the kill here rather than pushing him into Dome. Switching his lock on, reflecting the session, and that is GG's for Mr. Raiden.
Yep, and taking it in 137.20. With that, still the amount of content that S0nzero does have to do, Raiden will be moving on, and we'll be awaiting the winner in the next round of the losers bracket portion between myself and Dragon Blast. And we do have our next matchup coming up here pretty shortly between Callet and Flo. Winner of that will move on to face Dark in the third round of the losers bracket. And then I believe we have other action scheduled later on this week. Not entirely sure, but got some awesome matchups coming.
Absolutely.
But that is
going to Raiden, and unfortunately that is where S0nzero will exit League. GG's to S0nzero as well. Unfortunate, but once again, very, very chain logic seed, but both players played well that seed. Just a really rough one.
That is going to do it for us for now, momentarily. I believe we're just going to take an intermission here. Yep. And we'll be back here shortly.